Hi guys, Russia here and welcome to Twofold. We are playing this game as part of the Choose Wisely Festival that is running on Steam right now from the 8th to the 15th. So go and check out some of the awesome games on show or search hashtag Choose Wisely Festival to watch participating content. In this game, in a bid to avoid failing out of college, Olive Penn inadvertently finds themselves caught in the middle of a feud between two campus club leaders whose rivalry seemingly threatens to tear their friendship apart. This game is developed by Salty Studios and Studio Coattails, as well as published by Studio Elan. Now, there is a demo of this game. It currently retails for $29.50 AUD on Steam. However, as part of the festival, they are offering 40% off, so go and check it out if this game looks interesting to you. I am planning to play at least 2 hours today, but I will not be playing the full thing, so don't expect to see the full thing. If you want to experience the full thing, I highly suggest you go and purchase the game if it's something that's interesting to you. Other than that, we're going to have a quick look at some options here. It had a really cool setup when I first opened the game. It was like, we're going to set you up. And I was like, thanks, fam. It basically just took me through setting it up, but in a really cool way. It's basically the same stuff I did before. There's also extras here. I guess I have to do these things to unlock them. We're just going to jump right in because I'm really fascinated about the way that this game runs and is set up, and I'm gonna stop yapping now. I'm apologizing.
College will open new paths for you, is what my mom had always said. I took those words to heart, despite my usual cynicism. Even as my high school friends drifted away from me over the years, and the stresses of moving out and living alone mountain, I continued to believe in them. Then came today. The meeting with the advisor was never going to go well. Academic probation isn't a term thrown around in good circumstances.
Sure the fuck isn't. What'd you do, Olive?
Even with all that, a 1.2 GPA was a surprise. 5 whole credits.
I'm gonna pretend I understand what a GPA is and what that number means.
After cruising through school before college, it feels like a bad joke when I repeat his coldly delivered words in my head.
That's a low number, right? Isn't it a 4.0 that you want? That's a high. That's like a perfect.
My heart's sinking. I finally close the door behind me. A chapter of my life closes with it.
Okay. Walking by the bike propped up against a wall, I shiver from the chill of fall running through my apartment. The practically non-existent insulation does little to keep the cold out, nor the noise. Without a roommate to... Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. No, I don't want to quit. I just want to go back. Oh my god, right click. Without a roommate to share the space with, there's little to hear but the occasional passing traffic. I hardly mind. Solitude is more comfortable anyway. Unfortunately for me, that same silence makes me focus all the more on my failure. Upon reaching the living room, I simply stop. It's not like this should be out of left field. I'd stopped checking my grades on the school website, knowing full well that the hours eaten up by work would take their toll. Between working late and studying early, it's all I could do to not fall asleep during lectures. Denial, that's all it was. Now it's caught up to me and I have no real way out. What do I do now? For all I've tried to avoid burdening my mum, neither of us could possibly afford another semester or so of college if I failed out. I shuffle to the kitchen counter and grab a glass of water to calm my nerves. Yeah, that's what a glass of water does. With little else available to distract myself from what I should be doing, I step over to the fern on the sill and slowly drizzle the pebbles around it with water. I'm surprised it's still alive after all this time. Having bought it when I moved here, managed to take care of a plant feels like a bad consolation prize given everything else I've messed up. All I can do is sigh and appreciate the chance to wind down a little by caring for the thing. With the soil darkened and leaves shining from the droplets of water, I put down the glass and fall back onto the couch. Might as well get this over with. I fish the phone from my pocket and navigate to my mum in the contacts lists. Then I press the call button. Anxious seconds go by as it rings, before she finally picks up.
Hello?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Olive. How's it going?
I just got back from talking to my advisor.
What did he say?
Her cheery tone drops a little. She must have heard the defeat in my own voice.
It's... have a 1.2 GPA. Only 5 credits.
I feel like I'm deflating as I sink further into my couch. I thought I'd be scared or frustrated at how bad this is, but that's worn off and become a dull emptiness.
Oh, honey.
The last tone of voice I wanted to hear was that sweet, concerned voice. It'd be so much easier if she just yelled at me, a sentiment I've thought more than once.
It's okay. This doesn't mean the end. I know someone as smart as my Ollie can find a way.
If I pulled off a decent GPA and passed all my classes and managed full credits for them, I'd still end up short. He did try to give me some options, but
See, there you go.
I don't know if they'll do any good, Mom. It's an intro art class and a creative writing class. He even said they're basically filler.
It sounds like it's something you should try, don't you think? You could easily tackle either of those.
I've never been good at that kind of stuff. You know that.
Me either, kid.
You can only give your best shot. I think that's more than enough. You've been through harder trials in your life, and you've overcome those, and you're so much stronger for it. What this means is that there's hope.
Hope. I really wish I could believe her on that one. This is one hell of a long shot. I did fine in topics like science and math back in high school. No. But I've never had an inkling of creativity. I like to think I do. The art scene is also the last place I'd want to be anywhere near. Why? The art scene is great. Come join us, Ollie. Passing one of the 2 courses should give me barely enough credits to pass. Barely understates things. Then again, a pass is a pass, and skipping a semester isn't an option financially. Mum would doubtlessly do her best to help cover the costs, a fact that puts a knot in my stomach. All this is just trying to rationalize away one simple fact. She's right.
I'll do my best. Sorry for putting you through this.
Honey, you don't need to apologize. I know there's a lot going on. I know you're doing what you can.
You're doing your best, bud.
You always have me on your side. Your advisor wants you to succeed too. That's why he gave you this option. I know you can do this. I'll see you at work in a couple of days. We can talk about this more there, okay? I know it's easier said than done, but try not to stress yourself out too much about all this.
As they're in the middle of a panic attack.
Maybe you can make yourself something to take your mind off things. It's nearly dinner time after all, so make something nice for yourself.
It's a better solution than drowning my worries in some greasy fast food. As much as I'd love to take the easy way out of it, any additional responsibilities tonight.
Alright. I'll try. See you.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Olive. I love you. Just remember that tomorrow's another day.
Love you too.
With that, the line goes dead. The big moment is over. I rest the phone on the coffee table before me. Starting tomorrow, I have all of 1 week to decide on one of the 2 classes. A class that'll decide whether I get a college education or stay stuck in this rut for probably the rest of my life. All I have to do is pass an art or English class to do it. As the silence of the apartment starts gnawing at the back of my mind, I decide to get up and start preparing that dinner to distract myself. Art or English? Oh no. I like both of those options. Prologue! By a thread. I think maybe we should just play through the entire prologue, okay? The next day. Wow, this is so prettily, made. Today marks the beginning of the experiment. The drop period for classes ends next week, and so at my advisor's suggestion, I've signed up for both the art and English lessons. The plan is to sit in on both, decide which is best for me, and drop the other. I only need one to survive, and I'd rather not stuff my already full schedule any more than I have to. So here I am, sitting in art class. I've gone back and forth on this all day, oscillating between I don't have an ounce of creativity, there's no way I can do this, and it's just drawing, right? Could it be so hard? Yes, it fucking can be so hard.
And from there, we will cover the Futurist movement, which after its founding in 1909...
I think I've settled on there's no way for now. Try as I might to take proper notes, I have no idea what I'm writing down. Psst. A movement in the corner of my eye and a small chirpy voice beside me aren't helping. It's so cool. The thing in my peripheral vision is shoved further into view. Glancing over shows it to be an open notebook, which I try to tune out. The notebook slides back and forth in response, tapping on my own book as I try to write. Grimacing only spurs them on, now sure that they have my attention. What do they want from me? Can I read it? I lightly slap my hand down on the paper, stopping their movements. Far from being discouraged, the culprit beams back at me as I glance over. Hi. Cast against the window beyond her, the girl smiles cheerfully. The two of us couldn't look more different as I stare wearily at her, the sun behind her paling in comparison to her own bright nature. Hi, what's your name? She gives me a thumbs up of encouragement, earning a bemused furrowed brow. I might as well humor her at this point. Oh. Hey, you look pretty lost. Are you doing okay? You need some help? I raise my tired eyes back to the author, only for her to resume her thumbs up pose. She genuinely interested in helping or just making fun of me? Just trying to focus. Would it be too rude to add that she's only making it harder? I decide against it and slide it back. Yeah, I know it's hard. This guy teaches it so boring. But listen, I know all about this stuff. I can help you if you want. I look at my syllabus on my desk in front of me, full of names and terms and concepts I know nothing about. This class isn't just drawing at all. It covers everything from art history to social movements. My heart sinks at the sheer breadth of knowledge that'll be needed. The professor's droning lecture is soon lost on me as my attention wanders to her notebook. Though she's dedicated the full page to this conversation, I can make out various notes about art bleeding through the back of the page, even if the handwriting is hard to decipher. My eyes drifting further, I notice another book sitting on her desk, an open sketchbook this time. Its pages covered with drawings of this and that. That's in addition to the doodles and the notes she's been passing me. Okay, sure. This class must be perfect for someone like her.
Yes!
Upon reading my notes, she suddenly shouts aloud in excitement. All I can do is freeze as the attention of the entire class, including the professor, is instantly drawn to her.
Yes. Caprice. Is there something you need?
His pronounced sigh makes it all too obvious that he knows this particular student altogether too well.
Just excited and ready to learn. Is there something you need?
I need you to stay quiet while I'm talking. That's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
She gives an exaggerated salute, which seems to satisfy him. There are a few quiet giggles around the class, not that she seems to care. She turns and sees me watching, which prompts her to give yet another thumbs up. And after a moment's scribbling, to give yet another note in the corner of her page. Let's talk after class. I know just how to help you. And Caprice, by the way. She signs the note, though I've already caught her name from the professor saying it. I figure I might as well reply one last time. Thanks, I'm Olive. I have no idea the kind of person I've just agreed to talk to. Is she normally the type to pass notes and shout out during class? The last time I remember communicating like this is elementary school. The rest of the class goes by uneventfully, for better or worse. I try my best to take notes and follow along, but by the end, the professor's ramblings and tangents end up overwhelming me.
Olive!
Before I can even leave the classroom, I'm accosted by my new acquaintance. I plan on waiting for her outside the door.
Olive, right? Olive!
That's right.
I'm Caprice. Nice to finally talk.
She extends a hand, which I take. Her shake is surprisingly firm and fast, my arm being yanked around by the slight figure before me.
Yeah, so...
So, listen. I'm the president of the art club here on campus.
Oh,
Well, not the art club, but one of the art clubs. The better one. Forget about that other one. In fact, forget I mentioned it. There's only one art club, and it's mine.
you know what? Yeah, go with that. Oh no.
And you see, we're looking for members. Any level of skill will do. The best way to learn art is to work alongside your peers.
Hey.
So if you're looking for help, there's really no better way than to join our art club. We're all pretty much good artists who can definitely teach you anything you need to know. I can even offer you personal lessons. That's a generous offer from the club president, you know.
I have to stop this. I'm not looking for a club or anything like this.
Thank you. But I think I'll pass.
Oh no.
She retreats a step back, hands clasped together.
I came on too strong. I'm sorry. Don't worry about all that stuff I said. I do think we could help you, though.
I appreciate the offer. Really. But I just don't think...
I'm not asking you to join. Just maybe come by sometime. Oh, I know! I'll set up a club meeting for you to scope out. I'll let the others know to expect you once we can decide on a date. No strings attached. I think you'd fit right in.
I can already tell she won't relent until I give in. I sigh. She's not going to let me go until I offer some kind of compromise.
Okay, sure. I'll give it some thought.
Awesome! Trust me, it'll be great! Anyway, I gotta go. See you around, Olive!
She pats me on the shoulder and runs out, leaving me in her dust. If I don't go, she'll definitely confront me about it next class. I'm not looking for a club to join, though, and I'd rather not deal with someone so high energy. Maybe just sitting in won't hurt? I'll worry about this later. I've got places to go to as well. My god, so Olive is literally like, I just need to pass this class. Oh, club? Oh, the next day. Where am I? Cafe? The afternoon shift at the diner has proven to be a slow one, much to my relief. With Mum off for the day and the rest of the staff otherwise unavailable, I find myself idly flipping through my art textbook at an empty booth. The contents are overwhelming compared to what I expected from a class like this, and I have to constantly remind myself that courses like this typically rely on participation and effort more than anything. Still hard to not stress out about it as my eyes glaze over foreign terms and information, though. Jesus, the small chime of the bell pulls me out of my trance as a customer sneaks through the door without me noticing. I bounce to my feet to greet her, trying my best to hide how off guard I feel.
Hey, welcome to the Bell House. Party at 1?
I go to retrieve a menu for the woman as she turns to meet me.
3, actually. My roommates should be in shortly. They're just wrapping up a conversation out in the car.
Got it. Booth it is then. Right this way.
I take a few steps further into the diner, ready to lead her to a spot near the back. I only make it a couple feet before a voice interrupts my train of thought.
Hey Millie, catch!
She turns back around towards the entrance of the diner, handily catching a small key ring sent flying towards her. Takes a moment to get my eyes on the picture. A woman in orange and yellow seeming to be the culprit, and behind her? Oh no. There's no other way to rationalize this other than some sort of divine level prank, as the leader of the art club from yesterday is the last to enter the tiny space. Much to my despair, she seems to recognize me as quickly as I recognize her.
Ah! It's you!
It's me.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Oh, right. Haley, Millie, meet the newest art club member. Olive, I'm pretty sure their name was.
Pleased to meet you, Olive.
Her smile looks sincere, which makes the short pause beforehand even more concerning.
She got you roped into this without even having your name down yet?
She got it right on her first go, at least. I'm not in the club yet, though. Just testing the waters.
It's only a matter of time.
Uh-huh. Anyway.
Wanting nothing more than to be done with this interaction, I spin myself around and start making my way to the back of the diner, beckoning them to follow. It's hard not to notice Millie glance at the textbook I had left out as the trio pass it by. The three shuffle in, Caprice and Millie on opposite sides, Haley opting to follow in after Millie. After I pass them their menus and pretend to look busy by wiping down a nearby table, the three make idle chatter as they talk about our offerings. I'd like to say I wasn't eavesdropping, but the truth is simply that they don't end up saying anything interesting. It's not long before they settle on their orders, loaded fries for Caprice, a chicken sandwich for Millie, and a breakfast platter for Haley. The latter is a bit annoying to prep at this hour, but it's nothing I'm not used to at this point. I carefully sit each plate in front of its intended recipient. The fries give me a bit of a scare with a near spill, but Caprice helps save the dish in the nick of time.
Enjoy. Just speak up if you need anything else.
It smells great. Thank you.
With a small wave, I leave them to their meals, taking my seat back at my textbook a couple booths over. My eyes continue to glaze over the writing and images. The entire book is nothing but a jumbled mess to me, its more logical approach to the arts contradicting the hands-on approach of the class. To relieve the strain from my eyes, I occasionally glance up at the diner's current guests. Millie's quick to steal a fry or two, with Caprice matching her roommate's thieving by taking a fork full of hash browns from Haley's plate. The laughter and back and forth you'd expect from stuff like this is more subdued than you'd expect, but they seem to be enjoying themselves. And then Haley spots me. I try to avert my eyes, back down to my book to feign ignorance, but it's a little too late.
Hey, whatever your name was.
Olive. Hi.
Sure, let's go with that.
With Millie glancing over Caprice's shoulder and Caprice's head spun around, it looks like I'm not getting out of this. With a resigned sigh, I stand up and approach their booth again.
Don't suppose this is just you asking for a refill?
Haley seems to consider it for a moment, glancing down her half-empty cup before deciding against it.
Maybe in a bit. Just figured you wanted to chat with you staring longingly at us like that.
Caprice and Millie share a glance. Internally, I cringe. Thanks for wording it precisely like that, Haley. I have known you for approximately 5 minutes and I already feel like hiding away forever.
Sorry, that textbook was giving me a headache and there's not much else to look at in here.
Studying at work is impressive, though. You must really be invested in the art class already, huh?
Not at all, sorry to say. I've actually got another class tomorrow as a backup plan, in case the art one doesn't work out.
Oh, really? What kind of class, if you don't mind me asking?
Huh? Just intro to creative writing. Some small filler thing.
What?
Caprice slams both her hands on the table in shock, her head quickly turning between Millie and I. Her reaction combined with a sudden grin from Millie has me an indescribable level of terrified.
Well, today's just full of coincidences. I happen to be the leader of the writing club on campus. We have our first meeting of the semester tomorrow afternoon if you're interested.
Oh my god. She retrieves her wallet, pulls out a small business card and scribbles a room number and time on the back before passing it over to me.
If the art club doesn't work out for you, I'd be more than happy to help however I can with your writing course.
Wait. Olive, the writing class is going to be a real challenge. If we're thinking of the same one, Millie took it last semester and I swear I saw her writing 8-page papers every other week.
I had already been nervous about how tomorrow was going to go, and that definitely doesn't help matters.
You're exaggerating. Besides, that textbook Olive was poring over didn't look like much of a pleasant experience either.
I can't argue that point.
I can! I've had the same professor in another class. We'll hardly ever use the book. Either way, a little bit of studying and some doodling is a heck of a lot easier than what you went through.
Says the woman spending days at a time stressing about inspiration and color composition.
Caprice glares daggers into what I had assumed to be her friend, a far cry from her smile yesterday. Millie pretends not to notice, going back to her sandwich after I tucked the card away in my back pocket. I turn to Haley looking for some kind of explanation. I met with a raised glass, the half-melted ice clanking against it as she shakes it around.
Lemon lime. Thanks.
Coming right up.
Wow, so they're the rivals, hey? But they seemed so jovial and friendly. Ah, next day. English time. My forte. Or what I wish my forte was. The writing class ran longer than I would have liked. The professor definitely belongs in that course with a clear love of language and words. A lot of words. The syllabus didn't enter our hands until 10 minutes after the estimated end of the class, and the rigorous requirements listed on it didn't make me feel any better. Given Emily's experience in the class, I want to go into the club today feeling optimistic, but in truth, neither leader has done a spectacular job of selling me so far. I mindlessly turn the card over in my hands a few times as I navigate the halls of the building. Judging by the advertisement for a car repair shop on the front, it's probably some trash she had yet to throw away before she handed it off to me. The information on the back is a lot more useful to me at the moment. I'm on the right floor at this point, at least. Now it's just a matter of finding the right door. The only thing unusual in this hall is a lanky guy fidgeting nervously outside of one of the rooms. The club room, as it so happens.
Huh? Oh!
Given by the way he jumps back, it seems my presence has gone unnoticed. Getting a decent look at his face, something feels familiar, but I can't quite place it. His widened eyes seem to imply he's come to a similar sort of conclusion.
Olive? Olive Penn?
Okay, I guess I do know them.
Yeah, that's me. And you're...
We shared a few classes back in high school. I don't blame you if you don't remember. I go by Darren now. Darren Baker.
It's not until he offers a feeble handshake that I realize who I'm talking to. We weren't super close or anything, but having a friend of any kind around after a little over a year of solitude is enough to get a smile out of me.
I remember. Don't worry. You're looking good.
And you're looking the same as ever. Glad to see college hasn't changed you much.
Well, I think I might be overdue for a little change, honestly.
I end my greeting with a small chuckle to play it off, which seems to satisfy him as he retains his smile. If only he knew the half of it. As much as I'd like to do a bit of catching up and continue avoiding the matter at hand, I'm becoming more and more aware of how late I'm running.
Anyway, are you here for the riding club too?
I glance down at the card to triple check the details before returning my attention to him. He gives a dejected nod without so much as even glancing at it.
Yeah. That was the plan, at least.
Something up?
It's just more crowded than I was imagining it. Lots of noise and talking over each other. I poked my head in for a second, and that was enough.
Eesh. Yeah, I can't blame you.
It's good to hear that it's active, at least. I can definitely sympathize with Darren's situation, and it's a sentiment I'd echo in any other scenario, but sidestepping is out of the question. I've already committed to checking out Caprice's club, so at this point it's better to get as many options as I can.
Well, wanna check it out together? I haven't been looking forward to it much either, to be honest. But having a friend there would help. No pressure though.
No, all the pressure. You're coming with me, bro. I fully expect him to turn down the offer, not being shackled to the obligation like me, but instead his face lights up.
No, it's fine. Sounds good to me.
As soon as the door opens, the noise Darren warned me about becomes obvious. The corners of my mouth already felt heavy, but that's only intensified as I discover the source of the squabbling. Ooh. In the back of the room is a small group of people talking amongst themselves, scouring through the counters for supplies. The lone woman sitting at one of the desks is entirely silent, tapping away on her phone as noise assaults her from both sides of the room. And in the front is Caprice, arguing with Millie.
It sure is convenient that you'd pick today to do this.
It has to be today. There's hardly any time left to get all of this sorted.
You couldn't even wait a couple hours?
If you just signed the papers, we'd be out of here in 15 minutes, tops.
The two continue their back and forth a bit longer before suddenly stopping and swiveling their heads as the door fully opens to reveal myself and Darren.
Oh, what a coincidence.
You knew I was coming. You heard Millie offer as much yesterday.
That didn't necessarily mean you'd show up. I thought for sure you wouldn't have bothered.
Millie seems eager to respond, but instead just stands there silently fuming. The threat of a retort almost scares me more than if she had actually chosen to speak up. Caprice seems unfazed by her friend's body language and instead turns her attention to the back of the room.
Hey, you guys! This is Olive, the person I was telling you about.
The woman glued to her phone doesn't react, but the four in the back turn around to face us. Having just a complete set of eyes on me is enough to make me want to shrink away into my vest, let alone six.
Oh, hi. I'm Allison. Nice to meet you. Caprice has told us a bunch about you already.
A small pause seems to imply that's the end of the interaction, much to my relief. Allison bumps her elbow into the arm of the woman beside her, which unfortunately seems to be enough to keep it going.
Eileen. Yeah, good seeing you. We're a bit busy now, though.
And with that, she turns back around and continues piling miscellaneous coloured papers and craft supplies under her arm. With a small sigh, Allison resumes her work as well. Confident she's not going to be getting any more out of the two, Caprice focuses her attention to another pair of students. A tall and intimidating man casually leaning on the countertop, and a stern-faced woman watching intently as Eileen and Allison pick away at the supplies.
The big guy's Wallace. Our newest member, excluding you.
And the last one?
She's not with us.
A surprising amount of venom in that response, more than I'd think Caprice capable.
And thank goodness for that. Name's Tanya. Thanks for asking. I'm with the writing club. Millie told me you'd be coming today. Didn't mention there being two of you, though.
On that note,
Having had enough of this distraction, Millie makes her way back behind the desk at the front. She pulls out a pen and swiftly jots down her signature before beckoning Caprice over to retrieve the paper from her.
here's my signature as assurance that I'll finish filling out the form after the meeting if it makes you feel better. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to actually have a meeting today, so I would appreciate it if you hurried up your pillaging.
Caprice opens her mouth ready to protest, then decides better of it. She gives the contents of the paper a quick skim. It must satisfy her as she joins her clubmates in the back of the room.
Anyway, come in, you two. I was expecting Olive, but it's nice to see someone else joining us today as well. My name's Millie. Nice to meet you.
She extends her hand towards Darren, who reluctantly takes it.
Darren. Hi.
With a small shake and a smile, she ushers us to a pair of desks, then makes her way up to the front of the room. She shuffles around in her bag, looking for some sort of reference material.
You've got quite the fan club, huh?
The sound of my forehead hitting the desk is louder than any kind of argument Caprice and Millie could have. A sharp clearing of the throat from the front of the room is enough to drag my gaze back up, albeit slowly.
With all of that finally out of the way, it's time to begin the first writing club meeting of the semester. Welcome.
Finally, we made it to the club. Fucking T-Pain just starts playing. Front and center of the room, open book in hand, Millie definitely gives off a natural kind of teacher vibe.
This club's one of the oldest in the school, so we have a lot to live up to. Tanya introduced herself already. She's been helping me keep things moving for a while now. The talkative girl is Heather.
Giving up on her phone for the distractions, Heather finally sets it down and gives a disinterested wave in response to Millie's equally lukewarm introduction of her.
So, it's not typically this busy?
Heather smirks, though it's hard for me to gauge why.
Oh no, I'm so sorry about the bad first impression. Things are typically a lot quieter.
I don't even need to turn my head to imagine the look on Caprice's face. I brace for response, but oddly enough, it never comes. While I'm sure the news is a relief to Darren, I can't help but deflate a little. It's my fault for getting my hopes up, but even I expected more than 3 people. Granted, Caprice's 4 isn't exactly a huge improvement.
Don't let the size fool you, though. What we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. Here, look at this.
She approaches Darren and I once again, passing him the book she was holding just moments prior. I lean in to catch a glimpse and am met with chicken scratch. A lot of it. There's more ink than paper, and that trend continues as Darren flips a few pages.
The club can be a great source of inspiration and technical know-how if you'll allow it. I filled up this entire notebook and a couple others just in my first semester here.
And how many pages have you filled out recently?
The smirk from earlier has yet to fade, and as a matter of fact has only gotten bigger with her new remark. A grumble from the back of the room from Wallace, if I had to guess based on the tone, follows shortly after.
Plenty, thank you. The club's recent downsizing hasn't had any influence on that.
Even with the rest of her club, all 2 of them, not really winning me over, the work Millie has on display is impressive. At the very least, I feel like I could confidently rely on her, which is a plus.
Millie knows her stuff, I'll admit that. But there's only so much one person can do.
I jump a bit in my seat, throwing my head around to find Caprice standing over mine and Darren's shoulders, eyeing the contents of the notebook herself.
All I'm saying is that the art club, the entire club, would be able to help you. Unlike the writing club, our little circle looks out for each other.
Don't drag us into this.
Too late for that.
Without averting her gaze from the cabinet's innards, Eileen manages to swiftly shut him down.
Bold of you to hype your club up like that, given you didn't even bother to finish the paperwork to legitimize it in time for the fair.
I've got a set of keys for a room and a bunch of like-minded artists. Being recognized as official would just be a nice bonus.
I'm pretty sure I have a pair of keys that you commandeered for yourself.
Hey, whose side are you on here?
Caprice's explosion is met with a small smile from Allison, and an even smaller smirk from Eileen. They don't seem to be taking this too seriously, which honestly may be a point in their favor.
Thank you for offering to share your space, by the way, Millie. We appreciate it. Even if Caprice won't say so.
Come on, not you too.
You're very welcome, Allison.
Millie has a genuine talent for mixing sincerity and an underlying smugness almost perfectly.
Anyway, if you're all done chatting it up, we're gonna need you out of here soon. We were promised 15 minutes and you've already used up 5 of them.
Yeah, we're going. Just give us a few minutes to finish grabbing everything.
Wanna help us out, new kid?
Eileen continues her work, not bothering to turn around as she addresses me, likely for the best, given the mutual surprise on Caprice and I's faces.
Huh? If you're being dragged into the group, you may as well start getting used to it sooner rather than later.
What? No! I was gonna bring them to an actual club meeting. Show them the best we had to offer. I had plans.
I didn't expect Caprice to object before me. Eileen merely shrugs in response.
I also haven't really committed one way or another.
I've heard that one before. 3 times, actually.
Jeez, what did I do to earn all this sass today? To be betrayed like this, time and time again, it's more than my poor heart can take.
Jeez, Caprice. Caprice cranes her neck back and places a hand on her forehead in a display of theatrics, prompting a couple of smiles out of Allison and Wallace. Far cries from the smirk that seems permanently glued to Heather's face. The thought of Heather is enough to remind me of my current situation, and I snap back to focus my attention on Millie and Darren. The latter seems content to keep paging through Millie's notebook as a means of staying out of the conversation, but Millie is obviously trying very hard to hide her transparent frustration with a smile.
It's fine. It'll get them out of the room faster, and we'll have time to catch up after you're done. Win-win, right?
She couldn't sound more disappointed if she tried, and boy is she trying. I don't want to flake on Millie or Darren, given I willingly put myself in here with them, but at the same time, it'll only be a few minutes, and that'll tell me way more about the art club than a fully planned and rehearsed meeting would. It's non-committal for now either way, so I guess it isn't a big deal, but it's hard not to feel anxious about it. I'm staying put.
Well, my original plan was to check out the writing club, so I'm gonna stick with that for now. Thanks for the offer, though.
Well, can't say I didn't try.
The response to my decision is lukewarm, the only one showing any kind of emotion over it being Caprice, a slight frown appearing only for a moment on her face despite her earlier protesting. It doesn't last long, though. Replaced quickly with her typical smile and a small wave before turning her attention back to her club. Part of me hates to turn down the chance to dig deeper into the art club, but I can't bring myself to split from Darren after inviting him in. I feel like I've gotten at least a decent grasp on their personalities, if not their talent.
I really appreciate it.
Just making sure. You know I still haven't made up my mind yet, right? I just want to hear more for now.
I know, don't worry. Now, where were we?
She rests her chin in her right hand for a moment, rewinding the past few minutes in her head.
Could we talk about the club itself some more, maybe? You mentioned downsizing?
Ah, right. That.
Millie's focus continues, though looking considerably more dour than seconds ago. After taking some time to choose her words, her expression changes once again to a warm smile as if flipping a switch.
Well, everyone has to move on eventually. It just so happens that last year was the right time for a lot of people. It's just part of the college experience.
Well rehearsed and squeaky clean, all in a matter of seconds. You never fail to impress, Prez.
I'm unsure of how to process that, and it seems like Darren's in the same boat, but the only reaction from the three of us is a grimace from Millie.
As self-appointed club historian, I feel the need to point out that this great migration of yours only started after you took the reins, though.
Thank you, Heather.
No problem. As the last of the old guard, we have to look after each other, you know?
Jeez. Confident that she's successfully gotten under Millie's skin, Heather returns to tapping away at her phone, smug expression never once leaving her face. Heather's done her job of getting me curious about Millie's influence on the club, but it feels utterly futile to ask Millie directly about it. Left unsure of how to continue this conversation, I turn to Darren. To my surprise, he seems unusually nonplussed about Heather's interruption.
A smaller club suits me perfectly, actually. I was a lot more anxious when I came in originally and saw so many of you in here.
Yes, exactly. You won't find a better place to express yourself if you're looking for peace and quiet.
That's one way to look at it, I guess. Darren doesn't seem to match my skepticism, looking considerably more at ease with Millie's assurances. I must be doing a poor job of hiding my disapproval, as Millie is quick to shift gears once she redirects her attention to me.
But just because we're quiet doesn't mean we're an empty room. Tanya, can I borrow you for a minute?
Millie waves the woman in the back down. After giving the art club another cursory once-over, she obliges her friend's request, casually striding up to the front of the room.
Hey again.
I want to give you two a proper introduction to Tanya. She's the most recent member, but she's already been a huge help.
Tanya responds by grabbing at my hand and giving it a firm, very firm shake before repeating the process with Darren. Given the way he gently holds the hand in question after the fact, it's safe to assume her grip took him off guard as much as it did me.
Millie Woo, you two over yet?
I think she might be getting there.
Good to hear.
Well...
I don't know. 2 words, barely even words, are enough to get a simultaneous frown from Tanya and Millie.
Still got some hang-ups?
I'm just not sure the club has what I'm looking for, I guess.
Well, let's see if we can address that. What are you looking for here?
Help with my writing class, assuming I stick with it.
Yes, I'm aware. Anything else?
The expectation in her eyes begins to waver after a few seconds of prolonged silence, making me feel as though I've disappointed her with my response. Tanya, in contrast, is practically beaming.
Is that all? Then you've got nothing to worry about. You couldn't ask for a better tutor than Millie here.
She gives her friend a playful shake on the shoulder.
What about you?
What about me?
I guess I was just hoping that I'd have more people around to bounce things off of than just the leader.
Oh.
She sheepishly rubs her head as she thinks, making a mess of her hair in the process.
That kind of thing isn't really my strong suit. I don't know if calling on me for writing advice would be the best idea you've ever had.
Before I even have a chance to air out my concerns, Tanya bounces back, pushing Millie forward.
I told you, though. If there's anyone who could single-handedly drag you across the finish line, it's Millie here. Right?
Well, I'd certainly try my best.
And so the pitch ends, closer to a whimper than a bang. It looks like Darren's probably been won over, sitting upright and excited at the promise of an empty classroom. But that same promise of a near-deserted club makes me sink into my seat. I reach over and grab the notebook from Darren's desk, flipping through it as I absorb as much of the barely legible print as I can. This club's likely a wash, but it'd be hard to deny Millie's own personal expertise on the subject. I wonder if she'd really be enough.
So?
Millie sounds as uncertain as I feel, even with her friend still shaking her arms with a reassuring pride.
I'll think about it. Thanks.
Darren's like, I'm in. The next day, we're gonna go see the art club. Friday, every student's favorite day of the week. Perhaps it's my imagination, but even as I head into the cafeteria, the chattering of the people around me takes on a slightly happier tone than the days before. As for me, my mind is still occupied with thoughts of clubs, classes, and my last-ditch gamble to survive the semester. My stomach grumbles, the smell of food from the tables only reminding me of my hunger. After skipping breakfast in my rush to get to school, I need something more than a cookie from the nearby cafe to get me through the day. The food here is nothing amazing, but I'm hardly picky. At least lunch will be a brief break from my worries where I can forget...
Olive!
Fuck.
Olive, hey!
So much for that. Caprice waves at me from one of the tables. She has an uncanny knack for detecting my presence in a room, however crowded and busy it may be. I resign myself to my fate and take a seat as the woman next to her gives her a small polite wave.
Hi, Olive.
The two make an odd contrast. Allison's shy, almost nervous greeting in stark contrast to Caprice's overabundant energy.
So, managed to survive Millie's lecturing after we left yesterday?
It was pretty quiet and low-key. Nothing that extreme.
By quiet, you mean boring, right?
Hey now.
You're an all-star!
Yep, it was boring and terrible. The typical writing club MO.
Now Heather has appeared, which can only make things better. Even though she's decided to walk up and invite herself into our conversation, she doesn't seem all that interested in giving us her full attention. Engrossed in her phone as usual, she barely looks up to address us.
What?
Caprice is visibly annoyed, with Heather's only reaction being the corner of her mouth tugging upward. Heather's passion for pressing people's buttons doesn't stop with Millie, it seems.
Well, Olive, don't feel obligated to give them the time of day. We'll get you through the semester easy peasy. Right, Allie?
Yeah, of course.
Right again. The club is nothing more than a waste of space.
Hey! Nobody asked you!
What? We're agreeing, aren't we?
Heather's managed to frustrate Caprice into silence, as impressive a feat as that any. She seems to notice my bemused reaction, face suddenly rebounding into a grin.
I still owe you a proper meeting. You'll come, right?
How do I keep getting caught in these conversations?
We'll see.
And all the ones after that?
Well,
Great! I'll see you then. I gotta take care of some stuff for the fair. Bye, Allie!
She shoots Heather one last venomous look before hopping out of her chair, beginning to head out of the cafeteria.
What about food?
Already ate. Bye.
How odd. Must have just been keeping Allison company. Wait, what was that she mentioned about a fair? Before I can call out and clarify, Heather once again speaks up.
Why did you even come to our club when you were already playing house over with Mommy Caprice?
Allison takes to her feet and grimaces at the comment. I can't help but match her expression.
Please don't call her that.
Just keeping my options open.
This might be a good opportunity to help with that. I've got a member of each club in front of me, though not for long, as Allison picks up a tray of food and slips it onto the nearby counter. Heather looks unmoved by Allison and Caprice's abrupt departure. She takes a seat at the table next to me, barely looking up from her phone. Occasionally she'll sip from the can of soda she brought with her. She doesn't seem particularly enthused by the riding club, so I figure she wouldn't spare the unpleasant details. That said, Allison does seem like the honest type. Even if she is more loyal, if I hurry I can still catch her. I want to talk to Heather. I'm interested. I had intended to get some food, but that can wait. This is likely as close to her full attention as I'll ever get.
So, about the riding club.
Don't ask me.
That was fast.
But you're a member, right?
Sharp as a tack. I was worried it may have flown over your head yesterday.
Why couldn't Tanya have been the one to find us here? I'm tempted to cut my losses and just walk away, but...
Are meetings typically like yesterday?
Who knows? I only show up often enough to remind them I'm still around. I'd imagine things are much less exciting with only Millie and her flunky loitering in a room together, though.
So Millie's the only one doing any actual writing, huh?
Oh, don't you worry about that. Tanya and I hand in papers every now and again if Millie asks. Gotta keep in the boss's good graces, you know how it is.
And you're doing a fantastic job of that, I'm sure.
If you're asking about the number of willing participants, though, I guess you're right on the money.
I don't know if I'd call a group like that the writing club, really.
You can call it a club all you want, but it's just Millie's hobby at this point. If she wasn't so obsessed, it'd be long gone by now. As soon as the old guard graduated, everyone left with them. It was just a bunch of friends. The writing side was totally just in the name.
Putting her phone down, she leans her chair back and begins to rock dangerously while staring up at the ceiling. Feels like she's talking more with herself than me at this point.
Wonder what I'll do once the thing's put out of its misery.
If it's that much of a bother, why go there in the first place?
To kill time?
That's it?
That's it. What do you want, an essay?
Much as I want to think less of her for it, there's plenty of people who just go to clubs to pass the day. If what she says is true, that's all the club was ever before. Millie tried to give it a point. As I ponder, Heather becomes restless. She stands and gives a loud stretch.
I'm gonna go get another drink. You want anything?
If you're offering,
And she's gone. I guess I should have seen that coming. As she walks off, I sigh in frustration. Looks like no matter which club I go to, I'm going to be in for a trial. I like writing, though. With class still some time ahead of me, I find myself wandering the halls, going over my choices in my head.
Hey.
I just about bump into Haley, who's carrying some poster board and other materials.
Whoa. Hey, you need some help?
Without answering, she shoves some of her supplies in my direction, which I take. I already have a general idea of where she was heading.
The gymnasium, right?
Smart. Come on, you've been drafted.
She goes, and I follow. Yeah, I do.
So, how'd the meeting go yesterday?
You didn't hear about it?
Oh, I heard tons of things. But I'm interested in your perspective.
I would love nothing more than a 5-minute mental break from the Caprice and Millie war. Unfortunately, it looks like something I won't be able to avoid anytime soon.
Well, I'm not even entirely sure what happened. It felt like a sudden whirlwind.
Yeah, sounds like them.
As we enter the large building, I see that the area has been filled with tables, arranged in rows. There are students running about, readying their booths.
Hey, where are we taking all this?
Over here.
I follow her to a table, or what's supposed to be a table. Anyway, instead I find 2 smaller booths cramped inside the same small space, covered in red and blue cloth. One has a very formal-looking sign which reads creative writing. The other has a very slapdash sign simply reading art, clearly written by the same hand.
You get the rundown on how they're sharing a spot already?
More or less. I remember them packing up a lot more than just a couple tablecloths and posters, though.
The art club is off turning all that into brochures and other promo material for the two right now. This is all just bare bones stuff.
I'm surprised Millie trusts them enough to handle that.
Haley tucks her armful of supplies safely under the writing club's desk. I follow suit, emptying my hands as she lifts the cloth up for me.
Millie gets along well enough with all of them. It won't be an issue.
Could have fooled me.
Things are just complicated right now is all. You saw how they were at the diner.
Are you talking about their friendly small talk or them trying to poach me from each other?
That's why I called it complicated.
She brings her hand to her headphones, debating pulling them over her ears. After a moment, she thinks better of it, deciding to instead lean lazily against the writing table.
You're committed at this point, right? You're gonna be picking one or the other?
Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten in my thinking, though.
No particular feelings so far?
Oh, tons of feelings. Most of them dread. It all sort of cancels each other out.
I feel that.
Well, good luck.
Wait, what's up?
That was just Millie stuff. Gotta head over to the art room now.
Want me to come with you?
I've got it covered, thanks.
Once again, the headphones coming up signify the end of the conversation. She pulls herself up from the table and starts making her way past me without any further elaboration. It may be impossible to decipher Millie and Caprice's goings-on, but trying to get a read on their roommate is an entirely different experience. I debate sticking around to catch her again, but decide against it and make my way out of the auditorium, going out of my way to leave through the opposite doors. Yeah, Haley is interesting. I love the vibe. The next day. Woo! Today marks a day so rare that I can't remember the last like it. Something so monumental the full implications haven't settled in yet. A day without school, study or work. The sizzling of bacon rings in my ears, the smell playing on my nose, the time on my hands. For once, I've decided to start the day with a simple pleasure, the taste of eggs and bacon for a late breakfast. As I nudge the bacon with the spatula, I take a sip of the steaming coffee beside me. Unfortunately, my skills in cooking haven't translated to my skills as a barista, the concoction proving foul. If it weren't badly needed caffeine, I'd have tipped it out already. The little cactus sitting on my windowsill catches my eye, my pride and joy. As embarrassing as that may be to admit, easy to take care of too.
Looks like you're doing better than me these days.
My words to the plant go unheard. Living alone isn't the easiest thing. Every chore, meal and errand needs doing myself, after all. But it is comfortable. I can do things on my own schedule and eat at my own pace. Solitude might not be easy nor cheap, but it is simple. Pleased with the plant's quiet and unassuming company, I take another sip of my foul coffee. A distant ping from the couch announces a received text. Considering how few people I know, it's either mum or work calling in to ask me to help cover a shift. Knowing which I prefer, I turn down the heat on the stove and walk over to pick up my phone. Responsibilities. Wait, Ollie, are you home right now? Yeah, what's up? I didn't even read what that said. Mind if I drop by for a bit, maybe over lunch? Sure. Great, see you then. See ya. I didn't even see who that was. I did not. Oh, Mum? She's fussing over me again, as she so often does in quiet moments. It's hard not to notice this happening more often now that I'm living alone, though she's never outright admitted that. Not that it really matters. I cherish any free time we get to spend together, and it's not like I had anything in particular planned for the day ahead. Besides, she can probably lend me some more insight. Am I gonna meet my mom? Mom sits at the small table. It's shabby scuffed wood adorned with a small pastry box she's bought with her from the diner. It's a bit of a comfort to know that even living apart, she still brings extra treats for me. I'm thankful I had a light breakfast.
Honey, you really didn't need to cook for me. At least let me help.
I was going to cook lunch for myself anyway. Whether it's for 1 or 2 people, doesn't make that much difference.
I carefully bring 2 plates over from the kitchen counter, each loaded with chicken, vegetables, and rice. Damn, Mom. Despite her protest, Mum's eyes widen at the meal as it's placed before her, still steaming away.
This is better than having to cook for yourself. You deserve better than work food every other day anyway.
She smiles excitedly at the plates, shifting the box to the side.
It looks as good as it smells.
Thanks. So, how's work?
I take my seat next to her upon placing down my own plate of food. Mum talks about her day as I sit and take a knife and fork in my hand.
And she's yelling at me. Her baby is crying, and her other kid, I'm telling you, they had the most embarrassed look. But what can I do? Except apologize. And of course, she didn't even tip.
They never do.
Sorry I wasn't there to help you deal with that.
I'm glad you weren't there. Speaking of which, how's your day off been so far?
Oh, boring. Stressful.
What did you do?
I sat around here, mostly just a lot of thinking.
Ollie, it's your day off. At least take some time for yourself.
With what's been going on...
Still turn up about your classes, huh?
Yeah, guess so. And things just keep getting more complicated.
What do you mean?
I explained to her about the clubs, between the meeting from a couple of days ago, the upcoming fair, and the feud between the two leaders. She listens attentively, her expression varying between interest and concern. I feel myself deflate further and further as I talk, the hopelessness of the situation becoming all the clearer as I put it into words. It never quite sunk in until now just how bad my options are.
I really don't know what to do, Mom.
She has that soft, caring smile I've seen so many times in my life.
I know it's tough, but look at it this way. Even if they're fighting, the club leaders have been nothing but nice to you, right?
Sure. Maybe a bit too nice. I just don't know how things will go. My whole college career hinges on this.
You're more resilient than you give yourself credit for. I'm sure you'll pull through. Everyone wants you to do well. I know you won't regret your choice, whatever it is.
That's easy to say.
It's true, though. You're wasting your day off stressing over it. Take the rest of the day for yourself. Relax, do something you enjoy. Don't make it another day of stress. That way you'll be going to this fair with a clearer head.
Thanks, Mom. That's easier said than done, but thanks. She does have a point, though. I can't do anything more than I've already done at this point. It may not sit right with me that my future depends on people I barely know, but those two are who I'm stuck with. I have no choice but to gamble on this.
I'll try.
That's my Ollie.
She gives me a hug and a kiss on the forehead.
Now.
We love a supportive mummy. Wait. I mean, maybe. She pulls out the pastry box from earlier and places it on the table.
I brought a slice for each of us. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick first.
Inside lies 2 slices of pie, signatures from the diner we work at. 1 slice of blueberry and 1 slice of cherry. If I didn't know any better, I'd think she had done this on purpose. Picking the blueberry. Yum. A few days later. Monday's come around again. I took Mum's advice and tried to relax after she left yesterday. I don't know if I succeeded. I feel like I've come back from an exhausting weekend. Today's the day of the fair. I'm not sure if I'm sold on either choice yet, but I don't really have time to mull it over anymore. I went over it again and again. I'm hoping seeing them at the fair today will finalize it. With the morning study over, the cafe beckons for a quick pick-me-up before going to war in the club's fair gymnasium venue. Never having been to this kind of event before, I expect chaos, especially so given the circumstances. The oak tree. Heading in, the place is thankfully quiet, with a scant few students quietly sipping lattes while tapping on laptops or hunched over books. It wouldn't feel unusual any other day, but right now it feels like the calm before the storm. Haley! A particular lanky girl catches my eye, as much for her bright getup and headphones as anything else. Haley sits quietly as she listens to her music, hand in chin with a small coffee beside her. For someone so mild-mannered, she sure stands out. She picks her head up and waves me over. Pulling up a seat, she rights herself a bit and takes a sip. Her grimace shows that it's either cold or bad. Probably only bought it to avoid being kicked out for hanging around without ordering.
Hey.
Hi. Done with fair prep?
Yep. I helped them finish setting their tables up this morning, so I've got the rest of the day off till the car ride home.
It's bound to be an awkward time after the fair today.
Haley can only give a weak shrug in response.
Caprice doesn't ride with us much nowadays. Dinner the other day was just an exception to the rule.
Huh. I wonder how I should read that. The meeting was definitely a bit tense, but I didn't think it'd be to the point where they'd be avoiding each other to that degree.
Are things okay? Like, between them, I mean.
Her face remains as deadpan as ever, but I can faintly make out a raise in her eyebrows. I guess a question like that out of nowhere probably deserves a reaction like that.
They've just been having some personal stuff going on for a while, and things are volatile. Nothing you need to worry about. Probably.
Probably?
Probably.
Would it make you feel any better if I said, definitely?
Fair enough.
I pinched the bridge of my nose in frustration, an act that apparently does not go unnoticed by her.
This stressing you out that much?
You don't know the half of it. The situation on my end is pretty dire.
You'll be fine. Promise. I mean it this time.
How do you figure?
If you're just worried about your grades or whatever, they'll both make sure you get to where you need to be. They've never let me down anyway.
Another sip of her coffee, supposedly forgetting about the reaction she just had to it. As expected, her face contorts immediately in response.
Even if that's true, being stuck in the middle of those two like this just makes the entire thing feel more overwhelming than it probably needs to be, you know?
Yeah, well, join the club.
I've been stressing about just dealing with them this morning. I can't imagine actually sharing a living space with those two. I want to feel pity for Haley, but the small smile on her face makes me second guess that decision.
Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Content that her joke landed, she pulls her headphones back over her ears, our conversation at its end.
Get your drink and get out there. Don't let me keep you. Good luck.
Alright. Nice talking to you.
Yep.
She's very tall. Either that or I'm short. By the time I arrive, the club fair is in full swing. What must be hundreds of freshmen with a scattering of second years here and there fill the hall and mill about. It's interesting to see which ones look like they're on a mission as they head directly for a particular club, compared to others who peruse the tables as if browsing a farmer's market. Dozens of small stalls are lined up with varying amounts of work put into them. Piles of flyers sit on each, the odd standee or prop set up to try to catch the gaze of passing students. Most of those behind club tables look more bored than anything, some having checked out completely as they lean back and browse on their phones. The occasional happy shout rings out as old friends recognize each other, but for the most part it's a surprisingly subdued affair. A nice surprise that calms the nerves a little, but not quite enough to really feel comfortable. Strolling along the aisles, I casually note the more niche club entries, such as robotics, fighting games, and fencing. I could probably be persuaded to join a couple of them, under different circumstances. D&D club would be one I would like to join. Nearing the end of one particular aisle, it isn't hard to spot, or should I say hear, the art club's table.
Looking for fun? Come to the art club! We're accepting anybody, no artsy experience required.
Sounds about right. Millie sits beside her, hands together on the table as she patiently tries to catch the eyes of those passing by. The former act strikes me as a little put on, not helped by occasional slips when Caprice gets louder than usual. How these two could live together has me beat, yet here they are, with their two small tables stuffed into one assigned space together. I feel like I'll never fully understand the relationship these two have. Then it happens. Caprice and Millie both set eyes on their prey at the same time. Far from a fight breaking out, an intensely awkward silence reigns between the three of us, as they carefully maintain their smiling facades, the occasional student passing by only exacerbating the standoff. Sighing at the cruel fate assigned to me, I realize I'll have to take the initiative.
Alright, so we all know what's happening here. Let me hear it.
If I may, the writing club's a great working environment, and you could get a lot more done in a peaceful workplace than a party. And being a real club, we have actual resources and didn't have to rely on sneaking into the club fair to even be here.
Even if she's too eager to buy it, Millie isn't really wrong as she sneaks a smug look to her right.
Shows how much you know. I actually did the paperwork.
And yet here you are, sharing my allocated space.
I don't need to explain anything. Olive's seen how great we are already.
Caprice on her own definitely has an overwhelming personality, but her club seems mellow enough. That combined with the fact that art class is likely to be easier overall is tempting. The writing club on the other hand, well, Millie herself seems really into the subject matter, at least even if the rest of the club isn't much of a factor. It'd be hard to find a better tutor.
So, have you made your decision?
Let's hear it!
Whichever club I pick, I'll have to drop both the other club and the other class. There's not much chance I could do both and pull out a pass. Oh my god. I'm going the writing.
Sorry, Caprice, but I think the best shot I've got is with Millie.
The collapse of Caprice's face stings a little, though at least Millie has the grace to give her a moment to deal with it. She bounces back in true Caprice fashion, settling for pouting as she sits back down in her chair. Millie takes the response as her cue.
Thank you, Olive. Pleased to have you aboard.
She catches herself and reels her excitement back, though not quite quick enough for it to go unnoticed. Even if she was successful in riding her tone, the large smile on her face is still as obvious a tell as any.
Your first club meeting will be on Thursday evening then. I'm sure you know the place.
Have fun being bored with boring people. If you want to switch, the door is always open.
I'll keep that in mind.
That's the nicest no I can muster. I have to make sure I can pass, and the riding club is the best chance of that. Saying my goodbyes, we agree to meet later before I take my leave and head out from the gym. The riding club, if nothing else, at least there's some comfort in knowing what I'm in for. The next few months are going to be a trial, but Millie definitely seems the better tutor for dragging me past the exams. Only one way forward now, I guess. I'm still struggling with the idea of putting all my trust into a single person, but it's the best option I have. Even if her smile was just a result of her winning her little war with Caprice, something about it manages to reassure me, at least a little. A few days later, we've made a choice. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust as I step out into the dazzling sun. It's a Thursday evening, and that means everyone with a life is leaving the grounds as fast as their legs can take them. Everyone else, myself included, is walking right back into the campus. I pick up my pace as I walk. It'd look bad if I was late to the club I just joined. Reaching the arts building, I wait for the flow of students escaping the day's classes to taper off before squeezing inside and leaving the beauty of fall behind. Bye, fall. Looks like a full house today, as sad as the idea is. The only sound to be heard is the squeak of a marker on the whiteboard. Millie shoots me a polite smile as she notices me enter, before busying herself further with very important work. Tanya rocks her chair while looking out the window. Heather apathetically plays with her phone, and Darren dutifully writes in his notebook. Taking off my backpack and swinging it beside me, I take a seat in the front row with the others, the only spot open being next to Heather. Can't imagine why. As the seconds roll by, and at a loss for what exactly I'm supposed to do, I busy myself with looking around the mostly empty room. The really almost totally empty room. The desks are organized into a perfect grid. Spare pencils fill the pen holders on the benches around the room. The teacher's desk, commandeered by Millie, is neatly organized with notebooks and folders. Everything is perfectly set up for the class ahead. Standing alone at the front of the room, Millie looks more like an actor playing a part in an empty theater than a club leader. She's taking her time comparing the notes in her well-worn journal to what she's writing on the board, but she's coming across as more nervous and diligent. In my wandering thoughts, I lock eyes with Heather for a moment. I offer a polite smile, being that we're in the same club. For better or worse, it's worth at least trying to get along with her. Rather than return the awkward greeting, she simply rolls her eyes and goes back to her phone.
Wow, the art club was that bad, huh? Caprice must have left a pretty horrible impression for you to end up here.
She doesn't look up from her cell as she talks, scrolling through her social feed way too fast to actually be reading anything on it.
What? No, it's not that. This just seemed like a more legitimate club. At the time.
I may have made a mistake. Heather scoffs at that, half smiling in a way that mocks more than words possibly could.
What is it we're actually meant to do? Beyond writing, that is.
Show up every Tuesday and Thursday. So long as we have an extra warm body in the room, the club doesn't get killed off.
The snap of Millie's notebook closing takes my attention. A teacher turning back to the classroom, Heather pointedly turns slightly away from me, ending the conversation.
Welcome to another meeting, members new and old. I'll get right into it since I know everyone's busy. Everyone will do some writing today on a topic they'll choose. You can finish your stories off after the meeting if you don't find the time today. At the next meeting, we'll share our work with each other. That'll help us all gauge where we're at in our writing skills and what we'd like to focus on going forward.
Unlike the dead silence from earlier, Millie's trying to project her voice in a loud and clear way, even if it's only to the four of us. Whatever issues the club may be having, I'm reminded of why I thought it was the better choice. She's earnest, and at the very least gives off the air of a good teacher.
Question, Miss Clark? How long does the story have to be?
Only as long as you want. This isn't classwork.
Lucky us.
Unlike Tanya's somewhat rehearsed sounding participation, Heather isn't even hiding that she intends to do nothing. Darren looks like he's copying down the notes on the whiteboard, so that leaves only me left as Millie turns towards my direction.
If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask.
I don't know where to even start, to be honest. I haven't read a book on my own time since 5th grade. I'm better at more logical subjects. The arts aren't really my thing.
The world isn't so neat that everything can be divided up into logical or creative sorts. A blank page is always a writer's worst enemy, but this is a writing club, not a workshop. We can work through it together.
She closes her eyes, giving serious thought as how to best make do with my less than useful outlook. To my surprise, it doesn't take long before her eyes reopen, a newfound sparkle in them.
Tell me, where do you think a story should start?
The beginning?
Wrong. A story starts with a plan. A story without a plan is just a meandering series of sentences.
I wasn't prepared for this passion. Glancing sideways to see if this is considered normal, my neighbor sits there unfazed, apathetically scrolling her phone. That answers that then.
So, let's start at the real beginning. The highest layer of writing a story. An idea. Someone give me a one-sentence idea for a story. No details at all, just the elevator pitch.
A knight saves a princess from a castle.
Tanya jumps up, suddenly looking way more excited. She smiles as Millie claps her hands together and writes it on the board. I appreciate her input. The atmosphere of the room changes ever so slightly in the spirit of collaboration.
Excellent. That's a high-level story concept. Ideas are quick and easy to come up with, but finding one you're excited about is the most important part. Now, down to the next layer. What 3 things should any story have?
She pauses and looks back to all of us. Tanya sits back down and looks around to the rest of us for help. Seeing me look entirely lost and Darren avoiding her eye contact, Tanya gives Heather's desk a small kick. Well, a regular kick. Heather responds with an annoyed "Shh" and glares at the ceiling as she responds. Consider everything about Heather. That was a pretty tame response. I wonder how often something like this happens.
Introduction, conflict, resolution.
Thank you, Heather. Now, Tanya's story about the knight and the princess needs an introduction, a conflict, and a resolution. Darren, could you fill that out for us?
I guess it'd be... The knight and the princess's situation is set up for the introduction. The conflict is the idea itself. The knight has to save the princess. Then, I guess the resolution is for the princess and knight to get married and live happily ever after?
Almost there, but the conflict needs to be an obstacle to reaching the conclusion. Why does the princess need saving? What's in the way of the two being together?
Usually, it'd be something like a dragon has her locked up.
Good, but now this story feels a little too formulaic. How about for the assignment this week, you all write the story of the princess and the knight with your very own twist. Something to make the story uniquely yours. There's one last layer before we start writing in earnest. We have our outline, but now we need to attack the structure. How do you approach a big project?
I'd totally make the story creepy and be like, the princess is actually lying about needing rescued. Realistically, she just wants to trap the knight in the castle itself because the castle itself needs a living body to fuel and power the universe that they're living in. And really, she just wants to escape herself. So she's going to trick him into coming into the castle and then have him take her place and escape. Yeah, that sounds good. Anyway, there's one, what?
We need to take our story outline and break it up further into chapters. If you like TV shows, think of them as episodes, or maybe as different scenes from a play. How about 3 chapters, or just paragraphs for a short story, between each of the introduction, conflict, and resolution. You can change that as you go if things don't feel right, but that gives us a framework to hang our story on. There, does that look like something you can write?
I can kind of see it in my head now. Yeah. This whole process doesn't feel very creative, though. I mean, carefully dissecting the story into layers and components feels a bit clinical.
Yeah, but it's important. A sparkle shines in her eye. I've stumbled into something she wanted me to work out for myself.
So clinical that you might say it's almost logical?
Tanya gives an amused snort from the other side of the glass, and even Darren smiles a little at that. She got me. She was leading me to that this entire time. Millie leans back on the desk behind her and lets me stew for a moment.
There's no clear line between creativity and logic. You need both to write, or make any sort of art. To paint a person, I imagine you need to understand anatomy. To write a story, you need to understand structure and how readers will think. Don't get hooked up on being as imaginative and original as you can. Just practice. Write badly. After a while, you'll come to intuitively understand why some things work and others don't. Like a driver slowly learns to work a car without thinking about how they're doing it. And when you're stuck, you can always talk it out. Giving each other feedback is the most important and fun part of writing. So take some time to plan it out, think of your knight and princess, and ask around if you're stuck. We can all share our stories next Tuesday.
Hell yeah. The room's already awash in the orange of sunset by the time I sit up to take a break. With the meeting winding down, the rest of the members having largely stopped paying attention to their notebooks, I look down at my own. A truly awful mess of words looks back up at me. Stuff like this makes me question the entire premise of writing. How can I mess up so badly at doing the very thing I did back in high school, English? With that said, I can't deny that breaking down the story, as Millie said, has already helped a lot with the entire process. I think back to the literature textbook sitting somewhere in my apartment. The language was more difficult, but the whole point of the class has been about finding author intent and how it's successful. I'm still not confident in being able to identify what makes a good story, but having the vocabulary to start thinking about its components is a relief. As much as this seems like basic stuff, I can't help but be a bit annoyed at myself again for checking out all during my high school English classes. My saving grace right now is Millie, who seems more than happy to use club time as a teacher rather than a fellow club member. The ruffling of papers as people pack up makes it clear everyone else is either done for the day or giving up. Following their lead, I slip the pens and paper into my bag. With Darren still fussing about, Heather preoccupied with her phone, and Tanya chatting with Millie while sitting on the teacher's desk, it looks like I'm the first out as I give our leader a quick wave while passing.
Oh, before you go.
I stop in my tracks, having so nearly escaped. The sight of Millie's hand happily outstretched, palm up, confuses me.
Yes?
Phone.
My eyes narrow at the request.
I just wanted to take down your number and put in contacts for the others.
Even though she doesn't seem the type to text nonstop or call at random hours of the day, a part of me is dreading giving someone I've only just met my number. It might be helpful to have on hand in case I have an actual writing class question though. Reluctantly, I pull the phone out of my pocket and hand it to her.
Why do you have everyone's numbers anyway? Don't you meet twice a week?
As she finishes up, Millie gives an alarmingly large grin as she places my phone back into my palm.
Ah, but that's not all we do.
Millie turns back to the club members, all stopping what they're doing, and she proudly puffs her chest out.
To welcome in our new members, I'm announcing the first group outing for the reorganized writing club.
What? What are we doing? Oh my god, Act 1, pen to paper. Ooh, I am going to stop it there. We played the prologue, and that is going to be enough for today, especially since it is quite late in the evening for me. This game is fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I love the voice acting, and the art style is cute. I love that there seems to be 2 branching paths that you can take, and obviously it's probably going to change how the story turns out depending, so there is some replayability with this, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to exploring a little more of this game, whether I do it on the channel or in my own time. You'll find out soon enough. Like I said at the beginning, this is Twofold. It is developed by Salty Studios and Studio Coattails and published by Studio Elan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. You can go and download the demo right now if you want to give the demo a try, or you can go and buy the game for yourself, retailing for $29.50. Or if you go quick enough and you catch this video during the festival, it is currently 40% off, so go check it out. Additionally, I played this game as part of the Choose Wisely Festival. Don't forget to go and use hashtag ChooseWiselyFestival to go and see other creators checking out various games involved in the festival, or even going over to Steam and checking out the festival itself to see what other games are being showcased. You can go and check and see what discounts and savings you can get on various choose your own adventure type games, and just go and show some love to a lot of the developers and creators because they deserve it. They make great games for us all to enjoy. That's going to be it for me, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you get to play many, many games, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.